Hi. So after 20, maybe 30 years in your beautiful Tenafly home, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Here is the thing, though. Most homeowners don't really know how much that is. If you're an empty nester and the house is starting to feel too big, or maybe it's starting to feel a little too quiet, this video is for you. I help people like you all the time. I love it. It's a big process. I take it very seriously, and the best thing to do is just to have a conversation. So before we get into the video, I just wanted to remind you, you can reach me at 201-292-0011. Again, I help people like you unlock their equity all the time, and I am just a phone call or text away. All right, let's get into it. This house, the house that you're in, was maybe once filled with a lot of noise, but kids and family and running up and down the stairs and family dinners, holiday parties. It's a lot quieter right now, and that house, 4 or 5 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms, what 3 bedrooms, it doesn't really matter whether you're east side or west side. It was the perfect place, and now it feels more like a job as opposed to something you enjoy. There's a lot of maintenance, there's yard work, the house is like a living, breathing thing, and there's constantly in need of like handyman and contractors, and things are breaking, and you're concerned, what's going to be the next thing that's going to break? What money are you going to have to invest? You're probably also concerned, are you going to hang out too long in that house and you're going to miss your opportunity to cash in on your equity? And these very natural concerns. And the blocker is simply that it feels overwhelming to take that next step. It's an emotional challenge. And I see that all the time. You can't really visualize where you're going to go, perhaps, or maybe the idea of just having to get out of your house that you've been in for so long seems just unfathomable for you. This is not You're not alone in this regard. There are a lot of people who feel just like you. So I want to help you understand that we will walk you through that process. So for the past few decades, though, you haven't just been living in a home. You've been sitting on, let's call it a winning lottery ticket. And if you look back at the data since 2020, Bergen County home prices have climbed nearly 40%. The average New Jersey homeowner has seen their equity grow by an impressive 122%. So if you've been in your house in Tenafly for 20 or 30 years, this is likely an even higher number. So the home that you bought for, a few $100,000 could be well worth $1.5 million or $2 million or more money than that. So this is, real life changing money. And you've earned it just by being here and taking care of your house in one of the best towns of New Jersey. Why is this a moment in time, a unique window of opportunity? Because the market is sending us some very, very strong signals right now. The market is telling us that we still are in a strong seller's market. And by that, I mean we have less inventory and more demand. That's a very powerful signal. We don't know how long we're gonna be in this market. There are a lot of other areas in the United States where it's no longer that way, where the market has sort of calmed down and you're no longer in a very strong seller's market. And those markets are having to give back some of their equity that they have appreciated. But we do know that the average home in Tenafly is selling pretty fast, somewhere between 30 and 60 days. It is also selling 102 to 103% of its asking price. That means that we are still having bidding wars and sellers are in control. And when you have the leverage and you can mandate the terms you want, it is absolutely a much more favorable situation for you. It is still a strong market, but strong markets don't last forever. And for downsizers, and I'm going to call you downsizers instead of empty nesters, it does create a very opportunistic moment in time. Let's not call it empty nesting, right? That sort of has a bad connotation to it. Let's call it right sizing. So when you're right sizing in your house, it's important that you don't make a mistake. And I think the biggest mistake that people tend to make is they don't really know how much their house is worth, and they make modifications to their houses that don't give them the best return on investment. And I find that to be the two biggest mistakes that I feel homeowners are making. And you can avoid doing all of that, you guys. And the way that you do that is just by having a conversation with a professional like myself before those things happen, before you make modifications, before you spend money, before you decide you can't right size because you don't have enough equity in your house. I want you to think about this as a strategic first step to enhance the quality of your life and to live a little bit freer. A lot of the families I work with are, kind of sick of taking care of their houses. They're sick of the maintenance. They're sick of having to replace things. They're sick of contractors and painters, and they're sick of having to deal with what was such a big joy, which now feels like a huge burden. And they want more freedom. We have options to help you. For instance, my team right now is representing the townhouses on 9W, and those are 3,000 square foot townhomes in Englewood Cliffs, and those are for rent. You feel like you have your own house, but you have none of the annoyances or stress of having a house. We also have a network of top tier professionals in every area in the country that we can connect you with if you're considering maybe a move outside of this area. Our team also has agents all across northern New Jersey. So if you want to choose another area in New Jersey to explore, then that's another thing we can sit down and help you with. We do want you to feel like you have options. The other thing I want you to think about, and why, again, this is sort of like a moment in time, is because when interest rates come down, more people will feel comfortable starting to sell their house because, they're not going to be giving up their low mortgage for a mortgage rate that's 7.5% and 8%. So, what does that mean? We are in a moment of time, and it is not necessarily something that's going to last forever. And the first thing you should be doing is getting some professional advice as to what is the true value of your house right now and what, if any, modifications, upgrades, value adds you could be doing to your house in order to get more money. And that could be something as simple as painting or power washing. We just don't want you to make any mistakes that are not going to prove valuable to you. So, I am Stacy Esser, and I appreciate that you've given me this time to talk with you about right sizing. I know this is a huge, huge, huge decision, and I empathize with you because I am in the same boat. So again, if you have a moment and you feel like this is something you want to have a conversation about, my number is 201-292-0011, and all my information is right below. Hope to speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.